there, and welcome to Speak English with Christina, where you'll have fun becoming fluent in American English. I'm your English coach, Christina, and today I want to help you understand a small but tricky pronunciation point in English. How to pronounce ED at the end of past simple regular verbs. As a friend of mine once told me, I was in Texas for 6 months and I always said mashed potatoes and no one ever corrected me. I always said it wrong. Mashed potatoes? Now, we'll make sure that you don't make these mistakes. Let's go. For extra pronunciation practice, be sure to get my American Accent Survival Kit, which will help you understand and correctly pronounce 12 common everyday expressions. There's no mashed potatoes in it, but it's still so helpful. And the link to get it is below this video. But first, quick quiz. What did these words have in common? Tried, asked, wanted. Okay, it's kind of easy. It's the title of the video. They all end in ED because they're regular verbs in the past simple. I need to challenge you more. How do you pronounce them? And this one? And this one. They're all different. Tried with a D sound, tried. Asked with a T sound. And wanted with an id sound. Wanted. And you know what? All regular verbs use one of these three pronunciations, d, t, or id. And good news, there is actually some logic to this. Here's how you can know which pronunciation is correct every single time. We'll start with the easiest first, the id sound. Here, we pronounce ed the way it looks. For once, English spelling and pronunciation does make sense, and that's rare. Here's a little story, and listen to the pronunciation of the verbs. I was excited when my summer vacation started because I had waited for it for so long. I decided we needed a change of scenery, and I succeeded in convincing Roman to get started planning a trip down Route 66. Here are the verbs with the id pronunciation. Excited, started, waited, decided, succeeded. Notice the last sound of each verb. It's either T or D. T like excited, appreciated, and connected, and D like decided, included, and reminded. So that was easy, right? Next. Let's look at the T sound. Listen to this story. Last week, I walked downtown to try a new restaurant. I stopped outside the restaurant and checked out the menu. I liked their dishes, so I pushed open the door and looked for a table, but the whole place was packed. Look at the verbs and listen to the pronunciation. Walked, stopped, checked, liked, pushed, looked, packed. They all have the T sound. Now, how can you know which verbs to pronounce with a t sound? It's all about the last sound of the verb. If the verb ends in K, like worked, walked, checked, liked, looked, and packed, it's t. Same thing if the verb ends in sh, like pushed, finished, and mashed. Or ch, like watched, matched, and reached. Or the S sound, like increased, embarrassed, missed, promised, or guessed. Or if the verb ends in X, like mixed, relaxed, and fixed. This one's the biggest group, basically for verbs that end in all other sounds. You pronounce the ed as d. There are so many, so let's jump right in. Words that end with an R sound, like remembered, compared, considered. Words that end with a V sound, like saved, arrived, improved. Words that end with a Z sound, like closed, sneezed, raised. And words that end in an L, like killed, not a nice one, and traveled, a better one. Words that end in M, like warmed and claimed. Words that end in N, like burned, turned, and explained. I told you there were a lot, and we're not finished yet, so just hang in there with me, all right? Verbs that end in a vowel sound, like tried, weighed, carried, borrowed. Words that end in B, like robbed, climbed, and disturbed. And words that end with a G sound, like hugged and bugged. And finally, words that end with a J sound, like arranged, managed, and encouraged. And I hope that you're feeling encouraged about your English now that you understand these pronunciation rules. We covered a lot in this lesson, like 60 verbs in 6 minutes. So let's recap. Ed is pronounced id if the verb ends in a T or a D sound. Ed is pronounced ch if the verb ends in these sounds: k, sh, ch, s, f, or x. And for everything else, it's pronounced d. Now you can do a little happy dance because you got this pronunciation thing. Woo! And what about you? What other questions do you have about pronunciation? Share your questions with me in the comments and I'll make a lesson about them. And before you go, be sure to get the American Accent Survival Kit with the link below the video so that you can better understand Americans and they can better understand you. Thanks for watching. I'm Christina, and I'll see you next time.